What's up, everybody? What's happening? Appreciate everybody tapping in. Y'all know how the routine goes. If you don't, we're going to give everybody about 3 minutes to roll up in here. We're going to give everybody about 3 minutes to roll in. What's up, Miss Garcia? What's up? What's up? What's good, Dom? Everybody, what's happening? Hope y'all had a great week. It's Thursday. It's week 6. We about halfway through this 12 weeks, man, of free game on wholesaling real estate. Just to give y'all a little quick synopsis, we are halfway through. So what that means is now we're getting to the portion of you guys already know how to wholesale, what wholesaling is. You guys already know how to talk to sellers now, how to find buyers. You guys know if you got a deal or not. Now, from this week moving forward, what we're going to talk about is how to scale that thing, right? We're going to talk about how to scale your wholesale business. That is going to be weeks 6 through 12. So I hope everybody's as excited as I am, because this was my favorite part of the class, because you can get all this knowledge and all this game on how to start in wholesaling on YouTube University, which I'm sure all of you guys know. But not everybody gives away their secret sauce and their game on how you can really scale this thing to be making $60,000 to $100,000 plus every month, right? And that is something that we've been blessed to be able to do here at Rego. So I want to share with y'all some of the secrets, and that's going to happen for between week 6 and 12. This is going to be the beginning of the how to scale, and this is going to be about pulling lists today. We're going to talk about, guys. So I said we're going to let everybody trickle in for the next minute or two, probably next minute or so. We're going to get this thing started. I appreciate everybody coming in here saying, hey, everybody introduce yourself. There's a lot of new people in here. Every time I do a parody video, we get a little bit more traction. And so if y'all haven't already, I know Janae and Dom are in the ATL area. If y'all want to say where y'all coming in from, you know, y'all say where y'all coming in from so everybody can connect and network, man. That's what this is all about. Ms. Baylor, how's everybody doing? Q coming in from Houston. I know that's right. You down the street. I buy in Houston. So if you have anything in Houston, we can partner up on a deal. I'm sure there's somebody else in here that's in the Houston area. I'm a freshman at NCAT. Well, you see the hat then, baby. My little sister went there. Shout out to her. We got NCAT in the house. I wish I would have been doing this, coming to things like this in freshman year of college. Instead, I was doing God knows what. Deja from Detroit. That's what I'm talking about. We got a lot of Detroiters in here. So I got my Detroit shirt on, my NCAT hat. I know, right? That's what I'm talking about. All right, what we got? 703, 703. All right, I think, man, we're gonna get this thing started then. All right. So I'm picking up traction on the acquisition side. I'll for sure see you. Hey, please do. Like I said, I'm buying out there. And if you just need just like a JV on something, or if you want to run a deal by me, my mentor actually is from Houston. So he knows that area very well. And he is a great resource that you can use. So let's get this thing kicked off. That sound all right? So y'all, if y'all can, when y'all can see Jewel from Detroit. What's up, Jewel? Y'all don't know, Jewel and I went to high school together. And she's a realtor, if I'm not mistaken, in Michigan. So if y'all need anything real estate related in Michigan, y'all tap in with Jewel Hampton in the Detroit, Michigan area. All right, y'all can see my screen. Y'all can see my screen. Type screen in the chat for me, y'all, please. Screen. Okay, cool. All right, y'all can see my screen. Bet. All right, so for everybody who does not know, if you have any questions throughout this process, drop them in the chat, and I swear, I promise, I'll circle back to them things at the end of the class. At the end of the class, we have questions. So if you ever have any questions while I'm going along the way, because I do talk a little fast, because I get a little excited, right? So if that does happen, y'all just drop a question right there and say, hey, Dylan, what's going on with this? What was that? What was this? And I swear I'll get back to it. But let's get this thing started, right? So we are on week 6, the fresh list of sellers. If you guys haven't already seen the parody, I did a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air parody that I loved. I think it was great, directed by my fiance, Miss Imani Egan. So shout out to her. Wouldn't be able to be here today if it wasn't for her. So we are going to talk about today on week 6, sellers pulling lists, right? So I am you guys' host, Dylan Wade. Make sure if y'all haven't already, follow me right here on Instagram at purchase.house. Let's get this thing kicked off. I hope everybody is excited as I am today. All right. So we'll get this thing kicked off with a little agenda here first and foremost for y'all, as always. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to do a recap of what weeks 1 through 5 were about, right? Then we're going to go into what is list pulling, what is skip tracing, how does that even look? And then we'll go over the types of lists that you guys can pull and skip trace when you guys are marketing out to motivated sellers. After that, we'll transition into where you guys can pull a list from. And I'm going to give y'all some game that took me up until about 6 months ago to get this source. And this is a lot of trial and error. I'm going to give y'all somewhere you can find the cheapest skip tracing in the United States of America with good quality, right? As well as the benefits of stacking lists and what is a stacking list. And then at the end of this, right before we go into questions, I'm going to give y'all the best way to market to big lists. Because if you guys don't know already, I'm probably going to allude to it several times. I pull between 50 to 100,000 leads every month. So I'm going to show you guys what's the best way to attack and chisel down on big lists like that. So before we get this thing started, are y'all excited? Can I get some hands raised if y'all excited? Can I get some hands raised if y'all excited? There we go. That's what I'm talking about. All right, good. Let's get it. I'm excited too, y'all. All right, so little recap. Week 1, what we did was we went over how you guys can get started in real estate wholesaling or get started in real estate with little to no money by just using your time and your grind, right? So that's all week 1 was. And we went over a very broad overview of the things in real estate, the deal flows, things like that. So if you guys haven't seen any of these videos are on YouTube. You can just Google or YouTube search Dylan Wade Reunited, and these will come up. And then week 2, we went over how to talk to sellers. So now you know how you can get started. We went over in week 2, how do you talk to these motivated sellers and how do you really get them to build rapport with you and how do you really get that motivation out of them, their why. So that was week 2. Week 3, we went over, now you guys know how to talk to the seller, but now you need to know if you even have a deal or not. So we went over comping lightly and if you have a deal, as well as how to estimate repairs on a property. And then in week 4, we went into how to find buyers. So how to find buyers locally, virtually, and any market. You can use these methods that we use here and I use today. So that was week 4. Now, last week was creative financing, which is how you can have different exit strategies when you're talking on the phone with sellers. So some sellers, they may seem like a deal that's going to be dead, but you can turn that thing around and turn it into a closed deal by using creative financing as one of your exit strategies to get you out. So we went over that last week. And then again, this week, we're going to go over list pulling. So let's get this thing started. So when we start out, we want to know what is, before I want everybody, let me make sure I lower everybody's hands. That's what I want to do first. Because I want to make sure that everybody, raise your hand if you know what skip tracing is. Cool. All right, cool. So if you guys don't already know what skip tracing is the process of finding an individual with limited information. Usually in our field of work in real estate, we only have a property address, right? You might could have a phone number or a social security number, but in our field, it's usually just a property address. And we use that property address to reverse look up and see who that owner of that property is so that we can give them a call and do our due diligence. So now in real estate, we use this to locate individuals who we believe may be a motivated seller so that we can get deals, right? That is why we use skip tracing, and that is what it is. And there are data companies, there are debt collectors, and there are other institutions out there that do this skip tracing for you and that have access to LexisNexis and other things that can find this information that we're looking for. right? And so a lot of the questions that you guys may get asked when you're on the phone with sellers is, well, first and foremost, how did you get my information? And if so, is it legal? So to answer that for you guys, yes, it is legal. It is not illegal to get somebody's information skip trace. And I just blatantly will tell the seller when I'm on the phone with them, hey, how I got your information is it's public record who owns this property. What I did was I skip traced the information. I got your name, got your phone number, and we're speaking today. And usually they'll be in so much awe because they don't even know that something like that exists. They just breeze over it, and just say, oh, okay, well, what are you calling me for? That's it. So that's just a little bit about what skip tracing is and why we use it in real estate. Does that make sense, y'all? Can I get a yes? That makes sense in the chat? Yes? Cool. Okay. All right, so now that's what skip tracing is. Let's go into the process, right? So number one and number two can kind of flip-flop when we're doing skip tracing. You can either choose a niche list you want to pull first, or you can find a skip tracer or the company that you want to pull the list for you first. So these two can kind of interchange. Now, what doesn't is 3 and 4. So you want to first and foremost, like I said, choose a niche list. Maybe you want a vacant list or a foreclosure list or whatever it is. We'll go over that a little bit later in a couple more slides. But you want to choose who do you want to market to and whose information do you want to skip trace. Unless you've been going around driving for dollars and whatever that is, then you'll send that information and upload that to a skip tracer. Right now, then you're going to find a skip tracer or a company that will pull the list for you or will skip trace the list for you. And after this class, after today, y'all won't have to go look for any companies anymore. I promise y'all. I have tried so many skip tracing companies on Fiverr, Upwork. I've gone on ListSource, PropStream, you name it. I've probably tried it when it comes to buying data. So after today, you guys won't have to try out any other individuals. You guys will know who to go to. Then after that, the next step in the process is you want to decide, okay, how many people do I want to skip trace? How many properties do I want to skip trace? So that they call it records in the skip trace world. So how many records do you want to get? Do you want 1,000? Do you want 5,000? Do you want 10,000? Whatever it may be, right? Then you're going to turn, and then you're going to find out what zip codes. When you're first starting out, you're probably not going to go huge on data and get 50 to 100,000 leads. You're probably going to start out with 5, 10, 15, 20,000 leads. When you're starting out like that, you need to focus on zip codes. So what you do is they have a map where you can find out, it's even on Redfin and Realtor.com, you can see which zip codes are the hottest zip codes where properties are selling the fastest. And you want to pull lists in those zip codes. So when you pull lists in those zip codes, you'll know that, hey, when I find a really good distressed property from a motivated seller in this zip code, it's going to sell fast because properties in this zip code have a days on market of 13 versus 31 in another zip code. So you guys, when you're pulling lists, when you first start out, you want to be very, very targeted. When you're starting out, your marketing dollars need to be used very wisely. So you want to make sure you pull by certain zip codes. I hope that helps y'all. I had to pay for our mentorship from Ethan for that one right there. We didn't know nothing about zip code pulling when we first started out, right? Number 4, turn that raw data into phone numbers to market to. So you might be like, what is raw data? What does that look like when you turn the raw data into phone numbers? So when you first get this, it's going to be just a huge list of phone numbers. Then after that, they have to attach those phone numbers to the properties. And I'm going to show you guys really quickly what that looks like. So here we go. Here's one right here. Okay, so this is what a list looks like. This one just came back in today. We just got, I believe it's in Houston, 20,000 lists. 10 years high equity is this one. So this is what it looks like. I don't know if you guys can see it. Let me zoom in some for y'all. This is what it looks like, right? It's just straight data. Kirtland, their mailing address, the city, and then what the property address is, and then it's gonna have the phone number over there. You'll see it's gonna be over here. Last date of market sale, property type, and then the phone number. And then when you skip trace, they usually give you up to 6 phone numbers when you got a good skip tracer. Some of them only give you 3. So you have 6 phone numbers that you can try, and you can see if they're really looking to sell. Right, so I hope now y'all see and know, okay, that is what that raw data will look like once it's done. So that is the ending of that process with the company. You get that data, and then you either submit it to your VA, to upload it or whatever to begin doing whatever they need to, right? So this is what it looks like. I want you guys to think of data. Data drives you guys as company. When you are doing real estate, wholesaling, either you're a realtor or if you're on the wholesaling side, data is going to drive you guys as business, right? So even if you're a realtor, you're going to need to reach out to FSBOs or for rent by owner or whatever it is, individuals that might have high equity. You're going to need to reach out to these individuals. So data drives you guys as company, right? So you're going to have, so it's the top of the sales funnel. So I want you guys to always think of your company as just a huge sales funnel. And at the bottom, this little point here at the bottom is the closed deal. And you see how wide it is, and it narrows all the way down to that point. So when you start off, you're starting off with all this raw data. So I'll give you an example for us, right? So for every 100,000 leads we pull every month, we have a conversion rate of 0.002 that converts into an actual warm, qualified lead. That means that they're selling their property, right? So you can imagine there's 100,000 people up here at the top of the sales funnel when we pull this list. Then what we're doing is we're marketing to the data, which I'll go over at the end, and that's going to be next week's class. And you can choose, are you going to do direct mail? Are you going to do SMS? Are you going to do RVM, which direct mail is sending straight up postcards to somebody's address. SMS is text blasting. RVM is ringless voicemail. That's just straight up dropping voicemails into people's cell phone voicemail box. Then you got cold calling. You know, there's tons of ways you can market. And this is how you're going to begin to start qualifying this huge list of 100,000 leads. Then it narrows down in this pipeline here, and at number 2, when you're qualifying to 200. So you go from 100,000, you're sifting through all the junk, through your Skiptrace junk, and now you got 200 leads. And those 200 leads are going to be in your CRM system or in your Podio or whatever it is. And then you begin to qualify them, right? That's the bottom of the sales funnel, where your sales team comes in, your acquisitions person, and they're going to go through those leads, those 200 leads. And they're going to say, okay, out of these 200, were all of them serious about selling? If so, when were they serious about selling? If so, what was their price that they were looking to sell for? And you really begin to do your due diligence, right? Until you are able to spit out, and for us, every 13 leads out of that 200 gets us a contract. So out of these 100,000 leads we start with, we spit out all the way at the bottom with 15 contracts every month. So you guys can see how you got to go big on data if you can, right? Go big on data, and then you just trim it down until you get to that point where you have those contracts. And then out of that, not every contract closes. Only about 50 to 60% of your contracts will close because of seller's remorse, title issues, etc. Right? So you guys want to make sure you're going big on data and trimming it down. So that's how the process looks. I want you guys to know the data is the gas. You can't go nowhere without those leads, without that gas. So I hope that makes sense. Does that make sense to y'all before I move on to the next part? Can I get a yes? Can I get a yes? Can I get a yes? Cool. I hope that really made sense to y'all, man, because I didn't realize that you need to go big on data. When I first started out, man, I was going so small on data, getting 5,000 leads and wondering why we can't close the deal, right? All right, cool. So now we're going to go into types of lists. And I don't know if y'all know who those two individuals are, but they are Ray Schrimmer. And a question that I get asked a ton is, Dylan, what is your favorite list to pull? What is your favorite list to pull? What are your favorite lists of motivated sellers? And in the famous words of Ray Schrimmer, I ain't got no type. I don't discriminate at all. We go so big on data that we just pull it all. I don't care what it is. Vacant, foreclosure, inherited, I don't care. Now, when I first started out and we were just getting to the nitty gritty, my favorite list at that point back then was probate, just because the distress I saw in the sellers and how I was able to capitalize on it. That's the only reason, right? But in this next slide, I'm going to go over the types of lists that there are, and there's still plenty more that you guys can pull from. All right, so let's go. So we got first and foremost, which is a great one. You guys might be wondering, why would somebody pull on this? It's bad credit. All right, so screenshot this if y'all can, write it down, whatever you guys need to do. But you guys need to know these lists as well as what this next slide is going to have. So bad credit, right? Why bad credit? Because this person might be in a situation where they need to sell their property that they have equity in to pay down some debt. So that's why I pull bad credit lists. As well as this person might be in a distressed situation. We don't know what their situation in life might be. So I pull bad credit. Inheritance, probate, and divorce. I loved these three when I first got started, as I told you guys. Why inheritance, you might think? Because let's just say it's a person that inherited a house in California, inherited a house and they live in Texas. So they inherit a house that's in California, but they live in Texas. Do you think they're going to want to maintain that house in California? Property taxes are going to be high. Maintenance is going to be high. If there's a little bit of a mortgage left on it at the end of the day, they're responsible for that. So they don't, and they have no emotional attachment to the property. That's why I love inheritance properties. I love these, right? So whenever you get an inheritance property, you can think they are not emotionally attached and they don't want the property. They just want the cash because they just got handed this property. So these are properties where a lot of individuals get their biggest assignment checks because maybe a son inherited this property from his aunt or from his father or whatever it is. And he's just like, I don't know what to do with this thing. Just give me an offer and let's keep this thing moving. So that's why you want to pull inheritance. Probate and divorce. These kind of go hand in hand. They're in a distressed situation. With probate, somebody might have just died and they're about to be willed the property. And with divorce, they're in a distressed situation. They're going to need money for the divorce lawyer, for whatever their next life may entail, that next chapter of their life may entail. So that's why I love probate. Now, these can take a little bit of time, though. I mean, I've had probate deals that we had when we first started out that didn't close until 13, 14 months later, but they're always worth it. So probate is a great one. It can be lengthy, but it is great because you know they're distressed immediately. Someone passed away and they were just given this property, gifted this property, and it might be husband, wife, whatever it is, but they don't know what to do with it, right? So now the next one, age 55 plus. Why 55 plus? You might be asking. 55 plus because these individuals have been living in their home 9 times out of 10, right? They've been living in their home for a long period of time, which means they have a ton of equity in their home, for one. And it also is going to mean that they have a ton of deferred maintenance. A lot of the older individuals do not do maintenance along the way on their home. They just let it deteriorate year after year. So the house, when they bought it in 1990, it still looks the same as it did in 1990. They didn't do any upgrades, no renovations. And there's going to be a little bit of tiny deferred maintenance all around on things. It might be some holes in the wall. Maybe they had a water leak that they never fixed, and they only got the roof fixed, but the interior, they never did the drywall on. Whatever it is, they're going to have deferred maintenance because they're a little bit older. They just learn to live with the mess, right? So that's why I love 55 plus, as well as they're going to possibly be going into their children's home, maybe, or they're going to go to a nursing home, or they're going to say, hey, I want to sell this house, but I want to downsize. I can't walk the property anymore. I can't walk upstairs. You know, Dylan, I can't walk upstairs anymore, so I got to sell this thing. I hear it all the time. And they want to downsize. So that's why you want to hit those 55 pluses, y'all. Section 8. Section 8 is great because it's already cash flowing and turnkey. So whenever you buy these are just super easy to sell to your cash investors. So that's why I love these. And only a few places have Section 8 lists, and it's very kind of distinct. You really need to go with the tired landlord route to get Section 8s because there's not a lot of them out there, right? And then negative equity. I'm about to ask y'all a question, so I hope everybody is listening. For negative equity, this means that somebody's underwater in their house. Now, this is going to be going back to last week's class, so I hope y'all are listening. So if you're on the phone with somebody who's underwater in the house or they have negative equity, which creative or which 2 creative solutions or creative financing solutions would you guys offer? I'm going to give out some leads for whoever comes first in the chat. Throw it in the chat. What would you offer as your creative financing exit strategy? There we go. There we go. Yup. Exactly, y'all. Subject to and short sale. Those are the two that you would offer. Short sale because they're upside down. So you guys can possibly negotiate with the lender and say, hey, you guys don't want to take on this property, because banks aren't in the business of owning real estate. They're in the business of lending out money, right? So you can negotiate with them on a short sale. You can negotiate with the seller on a subject to by catching them up on their past payments, if they have any, or just taking over their mortgage and saying, you know what, I'm in this thing for the long run. I'm willing to have this negative equity for right now, because I know in 10, 15 years, this thing's gonna be worth some money. And if I do some upgrades to it, which the seller can't do, it'll be worth some money. It won't be negative anymore in equity. So shout out to the Willis family. They just want them some free leads. That's what I'm talking about. Let me get a water break, y'all. I'm getting excited. So next, high equity. High equity meaning they have a ton of equity in their home. They have positive space in their home of cash flow that's appreciated. So let's say they bought their home for $100,000. 3 years later, it's worth $130,000. They've got $30,000 in equity. So these high equity are usually going to be people that either paid cash or that have owned their home for a very long time. And a lot of them are tied in with this 55 plus community, y'all. They're tied in with this 55 plus community. So you want to go after high equity because they're willing to sell because they know they got a lot of cash sitting in their property. And that can be your selling point to them. Hey, you know, property prices have appreciated. Like in Austin, when people bought their properties 4 years ago in Austin, Texas, they bought them for $300,000 and now they're worth $500,000, $600,000 because all these big companies came in, all this gentrification happened. So the houses appreciated so fast that they have a ton of equity. So that can be their selling reason or their selling point. So you can hit up those individuals. Y'all silly. And then next we got absentee owner. Can I get a hand raise if y'all know what absentee owner is? Hand raise. Raise your hands if y'all know what absentee owners are. Cool. Great. I love it. Cool. So if y'all don't know what absentee owners are, these are individuals that own the home but don't live there. Maybe they're a landlord. Maybe their sister lives there. Maybe they just bought it and it's a vacation house, whatever it is. But these are absentee owners. So they don't have as much emotional attachment either to a property, and they're more willing to let go of the property and sell it. So that is another list that you guys can pull, and that is why, right? Absentee owners are great. And then we have vacant. Vacant means literally nobody's living there, and properties cost money. They have taxes, they have insurance, as well as ongoing maintenance. So if a property is vacant, nobody's living there, a house is meant to be lived in. So things just start to go wrong when they haven't been used in a while. So a vacant property is not good for the owner, you guys. So whenever you have a vacant property, you want to reach out and put that urgency on the seller. Let them know, hey, your house has been sitting, let's just say it's in Detroit, Michigan, for example. I know that when a house in Detroit, Michigan on Joy Road and Evergreen has been sitting for more than 2 weeks, it does not look the same as when you saw it 2 weeks ago. It's probably going to be missing windows, the water heater's gone, maybe the furnace has been stolen, things like that. That's what happens when it's vacant. The grass gets tall, you might get blight tickets from the city. You know, things like that begin to happen. And then don't let it sit for a year or so. Then, you know, your pipes might the pipes might have frozen from the winter. Tons of things can start to happen. So make sure you put that urgency on y'all sellers when you're talking to these vacant lists, right? And then next we have tax delinquent. You know their motivation, y'all. They're in a distressed situation. They're behind on their taxes. This is another big thing in Detroit. Detroit is notorious for having people that are late on their taxes and that do not, maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 years behind on their taxes. These are individuals. If y'all aren't in Michigan, if y'all want to find a list to pull, go to Detroit, pull a tax delinquent list. Y'all will have a plethora of leads to call and text on. And these people don't even care that they're tax delinquent, but let them know what can happen. Their property can be taken. It can be auctioned off. Your property will be auctioned on the court steps or be auctioned online. If you want to avoid that, Mr. or Mrs. Seller, you need to get with me today on a solution that I'm willing to provide to you. So that's why you want to hit those tax delinquents. And pre-foreclosure goes in that same route. You know, they're behind 90 days or whatever it may be on their mortgage. These are other individuals that you can hit with the subject to, maybe even a short sale as well. And these are individuals that are distressed. You know their situation. But when you come into these individual situations, these tax delinquent and pre-foreclosure, come in strategically as a solution provider. When you first answer the phone with them, they're in a distressed situation and they're embarrassed. They have pride, but they don't want you to know that they're behind on their mortgage. They don't want you to know that they're behind on their taxes. So that's why you come in and say, hey, I'm just here to help. I understand the situation. I don't know what may have happened. You might have lost your job, whatever it is. We'll get to that in this conversation. But what I'm here to do, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, is to make sure that we get you out of this hole you're in and we put you in a great space for that next chapter you're trying to go into in life. Y'all use that on the next call y'all get on with tax delinquent and pre-foreclosure. I promise you, their whole guard's gonna come down. And when they hear you say you're there to help them, they're gonna feel so much better, and they're gonna take that call every time. All right, next. I hope that helps y'all, man. That one, that's my little whole spiel. Whenever we call pre-foreclosure, I have a whole different script for pre-foreclosure and tax delinquent. We do not have the regular script. It's straight up solution based and helping them out. Right now, next, multifamily. If y'all trying to get big checks, yeah, appreciate it. They said that's some good juice. I know that's right. Hey, man, that's what y'all here for, right? Multifamily, if y'all trying to get big checks, $50,000, $100,000, $200,000 checks, even I've seen $750,000 wholesale fees. If y'all want those, I'm gonna be honest with y'all not gonna get them in single family. You'll get 50,000, maybe some 100,000, but the way you'll really get them is in the multifamilies, y'all. And I don't mean duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes. I mean apartments, maybe some 8 units, something like that. So if you guys can, pull a list of multifamily, pull a multifamily list in your whole state and begin marketing to it. And that's how you can get $1.2 million property under contract and sell it for $1.3 million. And nobody's batting their eyes at you making $100K. So if y'all want to just do 1 to 2 deals maybe a year and still eat good, I suggest y'all go multifamily. Pull a big list of the whole state of Michigan. Pull us the list of the whole state of Georgia. Market to it. And all it takes is 1 to 2 of them deals to change your life. Y'all, and if y'all don't believe me, look at any of the individuals that do strictly storage unit and apartment complex wholesaling. Every time they do a wholesale, the fee is at least $100K plus. So that's how you guys can get those bigger checks. It's going multifamily. Right then, last but not least, we have code violations, which would be like I said, blight tickets for maybe the grass being too high. Maybe the roof is caved in and the city has said something about it. They haven't done anything about it, whatever it may be. But these are people that if they have some code violations, you can reach out to them and say, hey, I see you're in a situation of distress. What can we do to help? Right. So those are some of the lists. I think this is what 14 or so lists that you guys can pull. There's a ton more that you guys can pull on, but these are some of the ones that I've used and that I've had success with. Right. Now I want to talk to y'all about stacking. Stacking list. Do y'all know what stacking list is? Can I get some hand raising on that? Do y'all know what stacking list is? Ooh, all right. I know what stacking list is. Perfect. So I'm gonna breeze through this. So what list stacking is it helps you see who the truly motivated sellers are in the data that you just bought or that you skip traced. For example, let's say when I buy a list of 10,000 leads, that I bought a list of vacant properties, I bought a list of pre-foreclosure, and I bought a list of code violations, and they all added up to 10,000 leads total. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to begin stacking that list to see who's really motivated that I need to call first. Who has the most motivation out of these 10,000 leads that we need to call first? I might even call them myself and not have my VA call them. So what that looks like is maybe I have a seller properties address that's on the vacant list, they're on the pre-foreclosure list, and they're on the code violation list. So not only is the property vacant, but they're about to get foreclosed on, so they're late on their payments, and it's vacant. So that means that there's not a tenant inside helping pay anything, and they're late, and they're getting code violations from the city. 3 things. So that's what I mean when I say stacking list. You go in and you see, wow, this same property address is across 3 or 4 of these lists that I bought, 3 of these 4 niches that I got. So that's lets you know I need to call and reach out to them first. before I reach out to the person that just has a vacant property or just a foreclosure or just a code violation. You want to reach out to people that have multiple signs of distress first, then go down to the others, because these people are going to be way, way, way more motivated than the other individuals, y'all. And y'all might ask, how do you stack? Right? So how do you stack? You can use software. There's a software called Prospect X. And a lot of y'all have probably done this like I have and said y'all are proficient in using Excel on y'all resumes. And if you are, this is your time to shine, baby. You can go in Excel, import it in, and do your thing. Now, I don't have the time anymore to do that, so our VA does it. It's called Prospect X, Dom. And it's going to be in the next screen as well. So again, y'all, list stacking, very important. Very, very important. Hope y'all got it. Yep. And Don's coming in the next screen. So you might be saying, all right, now I know, what types of lists. I know how to stack lists, and I know what Skiptracing is. Now, where do I go? Right. And this is the good part, y'all. Take y'all phones out. If you're not on it, screenshot this next page. Y'all are going to need this. I promise y'all. Boom. Sites to use. Right. These are the sites that I use. I'm trying to get that to go away. Let me hide that for y'all. Sites to use, y'all. Screenshot this, take a picture of it. I'm gonna go through some of these briefly, and I'm gonna show y'all the websites so y'all can see them, and I'll go over them a little bit more. FlipThisRealEstateList.com, very great. The website is old as heck, but man, it's a great website to use. They have tons of data, and they also have multifamily on there. That's why I love them. But they're best for vacant lists. So if I have an arrow over here and it has a word, that's what they're best for, y'all. Okay. Next, we have SuccessorData.com, great for probates. Citricato, late mortgages. They're specific in giving you lists on 30-day, 60-day, and 90-day lates. So if you just want to pull whoever's been 30-day late, 60-day late, go to Citricato.com, y'all, and go to them. And everybody has different pricing as well, which we'll go over briefly as well. The RedX.com, love them. They're great for realtors and for wholesalers. So when I go over that, y'all see why. ListSource, everybody probably knows ListSource. They're very known. They're great for negative equity, which will be short sales and subject twos. But they're also great for pulling almost everything. They're just like PropStream. Now PropStream, man, they are great for cash buyers and they have very accurate data, but they're expensive. PropStream can cost, I think it's 12 cents a skip trace, which is just ridiculous, especially when you're like me, you're pulling 100,000 leads a month, right? That'd be 12 grand a month we're spending just on skip trace, when we have a skip tracer, I don't know if I keep doing that does it for 3 cents for us that I'm about to get to. Prospect X, that's that list, Dom, that you're going to need for list stacking. It's also software. So it doesn't just do list stacking. They also have a CRM built in and all that good jazz. But they're great for list stacking. And then Real Estate IQ. This website is how I got my first probate deal. They're great for probates, inheritance, and foreclosures, and I'll go over that briefly as well. And then we have KindSkipTracing.com. They have 3 cent skip tracing. Y'all heard me? They have 3 cent skip tracing. Minimum records is 10,000. You have to at least spend $300 with them. But these people are legit. They have an 85% hit rate. I've been using them. I bought over 300,000 leads from them. Minimum. Right? So let me go in and show y'all something real quick. Flip This Real Estate List. This is how it looks. They also do direct mailing campaigns for y'all. Like I said, this very old website. Looks like crap, but they are great. So you just go in here, fill out your information. You can see this is what they have available for you guys right here. Okay. They have vacants, absentee, the whole 9. All right, but I don't want to focus too much on them. I want to go to RedX. RedX, I don't know if y'all have heard them if you're realtors, but if you're a realtor, use them. If you're not a wholesaler, use them. They have expired listings that you can get for $59.99 a month. They also have FSBOs that they'll send you, a list of FSBOs. Then they have for rent by owners and pre-foreclosure. So for wholesalers, we can also use expireds because we can reach back out to these people because we know they were motivated to sell if it didn't sell. For FSBO, we know they're looking to sell right now. We just got to make them a great offer and let them know, hey, we got speed and we have no realtor commissions or none of that involved. So that's what you're looking for because they're listening to FSBO so they don't have any realtor commissions. That's more than likely why, as well as they want to sell it as is. You're giving them their sales point. So FSBOs are great for that, right? Then we have for rent by owner. These are going to be landlords. Landlords is great. to call on. Say, hey, are you thinking about selling that property? Do you have any properties that are problem properties? Reach out to these people, y'all. Use redx.com. Hey, what's your opinion on batch leads? Batch leads is really good. They're not, I don't have a specific niche for them. They're great for, they're a whole all-in-one CRM. They have text messaging and all that jazz, and you can call through it. So batch leads is just really great for everything, I say. But they're not, I don't have a specific niche for them. But our realestateIQ.com, y'all, they give you, every day they'll email you brand new leads that are probate leads. So they go down, they send somebody to the county, and they scrape the county records, and they bring them back in, and they email them out to us every day. So every day you'll get 2 to 5 brand new probate leads, inheritance, divorce, whatever it is, in your email box. So they only have 4 states right now, but you guys can do this from anywhere. So give them a try, give them a shout. They are great. I'm telling y'all, this is our first deal, our first ever wholesale deal with Rego came from realestateIQ.com. It was a probate lead. So I'm telling y'all, these are great. Right, next, Kind Skip. If y'all are going to use Kind Skip, I don't even say if because y'all are. When y'all use Kind Skip Tracing, refer to me before y'all buy anything, because I will get a referral fee. Y'all, I only get it on the first time y'all buy something, and y'all know I do everything for free for y'all. So please, if y'all can't do anything, help me out when y'all buy these leads. Refer my name, say, hey, Dylan Wade, refer me to Kind Skip Tracing, and I'll get me a little referral fee. So y'all, I'm telling y'all, 3 cent skip trace. I just told y'all, prop stream charges 12 cents. So you're saving what, 75% on your skip tracing by using these guys. His name's Josh Chen. He's out in Florida. Y'all pay 15 cents. Look, they pay 15 cents. I just said they're about to cut their costs now by 80%, over 80% or so, Janae and them, by using this website right here. 3 cent skip, y'all. So what he did was he bought a company that was going out of business and converted. It was a debt collection company. He bought the company that was going out of business and converted it into a skip tracing company. So that's how he has so much data, and that's why he blasts out for so low. He's got haunted house data, houses that have had a killing in it. He's got all types of data. I'm trying to tell y'all. So when y'all are looking to go big on data, y'all want to pull 100,000 leads, 50,000 leads, 20,000 leads. The minimum is 10, but y'all want to go here. Spend that 3 cent, go here and blast out and do y'all marketing. KindSkipTracing.com, y'all. Go to them, tell them Dylan Wade sent y'all. If y'all didn't learn anything, I hope y'all learned that. All right. Before I go on to marketing, this is about to be the last slide. Are y'all good? Was that good information, y'all, on the list on the sites to use? What y'all think? Was that good? Yes? Yes? Okay, cool. Perfect. Perfect. Make sure y'all better not forget about me now. Y'all better tell them. Better tell my boy Josh and them over there at Kind Skip that I sent y'all. All right, cool. I appreciate it, y'all. Now, y'all might be asking, this is going to bleed into, we only got 2 minutes left here. This is going to bleed into next week's course. Next week's class is going to be on marketing techniques and which techniques to use in marketing to your leads and lists and how to scale them. All right, so I'm going to briefly, though, tell y'all what methods you should be using and that are the most cost effective to market to your list as soon as you get it, as soon as you get a bigger list. All right, so I'm talking at least 10,000, 20,000 leads. I mean, even if it's 5,000 leads, right? Whatever it may be, I'm gonna tell y'all what the best way is to do. So before you have your VA's cold call, before you begin direct mailing, before you begin doing email blasts, any of that, what y'all need to do is text blast it, right? SMS text blast your lists. Why? It's the cheapest and the fastest route to see who's really motivated. So what I do is before I even have my VA call that list of 50 to 100,000 leads that month, we have all of them text blast the whole list because it only takes 3 to 5 days. So let's say it takes them 5 days, which is a week, to text blast through the whole list. They're still calling the previous list, but now what they're gonna do is we're gonna get rid of all the people that said no, they're not interested, do not call, screw off, whatever it was. We're gonna delete them off the list. And then we're going to have a new list. So instead of 100,000 leads, maybe we have 50,000 now that have responded, which the response rate is usually 15% to 20%. So let's say 20,000. So 20,000 people responded, but out of that 20,000, maybe only 5% were positive. So what we'll do is we'll say, let's get rid of all the people that responded negatively and re-put that list in and have them call that list. So now they're not calling 100,000, they might be calling 70,000 or so, because still a bunch didn't respond. Right. So we're gonna respond, we're gonna have them only market on that next call round to who didn't respond. Again, SMS blast, y'all, cheapest and fastest route to getting to see who is actually motivated. And I've used 3 or 4 platforms. I've used Roar platform, and I got a referral with them. I've used Launchpad, REI Reply, and as well as batch leads. Now, out of all of them, I actually liked Launchpad the most, but they got a little bit more costly. At Roar, we only spent a penny to text message. So we're sending out 100,000 text messages every month. It's only costing us $1,000. Right, so it just makes more sense. With REI Reply, it was getting a little bit more expensive as well, but I like their platform next to Launchpad. So if I could rank them, I would say it would be Launchpad and REI Reply will be kind of hand in hand, and then it'd be Roar, and then batch leads for text messaging after. Yes, that's right, a penny. Yep, a penny, Janae. It might be a penny, like it might be 0.013 now. But yeah, but once your text message in that many, you just got to call in, guys. When you're doing volume, call into your account reps. This is what I do all the time. I call into the account reps and say, hey, we're about to start scaling this thing. We're not going to be doing just 10,000 text messages a month or 5,000 a month anymore. We're going to be doing 50 to 100,000. So if we begin doing that volume and I stay with you guys, what type of plan can we work out? Because if not, I'm going to leave and go to the next guy. And the account manager wants you to stay because they get paid every time you re-up and top off your marketing campaign with them. So call and talk to them, because if not, they're going to leave you on that plan with 2 cent, 3 cent text messaging. You guys need to, when you're first starting out, y'all need to get your marketing dollars as targeted and as most cost effective as possible, and they need to be used as most effective as possible. So that's why you want to make sure you're doing that. And then one thing y'all I want to add before I even end is your lists. People ask me, do I buy a new list every month? When I first started out, no, we didn't. We didn't buy a new list every month. We would recycle through that list 3, 4, 5, 6 times in that first 3-month period. And we weren't getting the great results that I wanted. What you need to do is buy new lists if cost willing. Buy new lists every month, y'all. So if you're buying 5,000 a month, buy 5,000 every month. And then when you've bought the whole state of Georgia or the whole city of Atlanta or the whole state of city of Dallas-Fort Worth, then you go back through that list, because lists age like fine wine. And my mentor told me this, and I didn't believe him, but he was not lying. Lists age like fine wine. So that list that you bought January 2020, maybe they weren't looking to sell their house then. But you know what might have happened in the last 2 years or the last year when you talked to them last? Maybe they got divorced. Maybe somebody died. Maybe they are moving because their job, something with their job. You have a list of people whose lives are changing daily. And when you have a ton of data, there's going to be somebody in there whose life has changed over a period of time. So never get rid of your data. Always remarket to it. And it just ages, y'all, like fine wine. We have right now, I believe, we have every major market. I don't even say believe. We have every major market in the state of Texas's data. We have DFW, Houston, San Antonio, Corpus Christi, and Texarkana. Every major market with about 300,000 people or 150,000 people or more, we have bought the whole city's data. So you know what? Now it's time where we either go to another state and buy their data, or we recycle through, because people's lives have changed, right? So that's on marketing, y'all. And I want to throw that last little tidbit in there for y'all, but I know I'm about to go over my time. That's it. I think that's it, right? So I'm going to open up the floor to questions for y'all. Let me go to questions, man. Let's see what we got. I hope that was helpful. Was that helpful, y'all? I've always had, so this is Nate said, I've always had a problem with the type of text sent out while doing SMS. What is that first sentence you send? Do you send an SMS script we can use? Oh, man. I love this right here, man. Let me stop sharing my screen. You know what? Let me see if I'm going to stop sharing my screen. So look, y'all. So I love that question. He said, what first initial text message do you use? So when I first started out doing text blast, the text message that I would use, man, it was great. But now they blocked it. So they blocked words like cash offer, selling, things like that are blocked now. You can't use them. So what I initially did was, hey, are you interested in a cash offer for your property? Straightforward, straight to the point, no extra jazz on it or nothing. Just straight up, hey, James, this is Dylan. Are you selling your property? Are you interested in a cash offer for your property? That was it. But now since they put those changes in, now you'll never guess what I do. Now what I say is, hey James, this is Dylan. How are you doing today? I don't mention anything about the property in that first initial text message, y'all. The first thing I just say is, hey Dom, this is Dylan. How you doing today? And you know what they're gonna respond back and say? Who is this? I'm fine. Who is this? What's this about? And they're immediately engaged. And y'all don't know this, but this is gonna be later on. When somebody responds back to you via SMS, you have 1 to 7 minutes to respond back. After that, the lead goes cold. After 7 minutes of not responding back to the text message, the lead goes cold. So immediately you're responding back. This is Dylan. I was wondering if you're interested in selling your property at blank, or are you interested in selling your property? And now we're going back and forth, right? But that initial text, and people wonder why my response rates have always been so high. You keep it as general and as generic as possible on that initial text, man. Just ask them, hey, how you doing today? So Nate, did that answer your question? That was good? Was that good? Okay, cool. Yeah. That was a great question. Great question. I love that. I see, Jewel, you got your hand up. I don't know if you have a question or is that from earlier? And Kanda Dow has a hand raised. I don't know. Let's see. Any other questions? Imani, out of the list you gave us, which niche do you find it most motivated to sell? Most motivated to sell, it all just depends. I mean, it depends on the time, right? I would say you want to stack your list. The question was, well, who's the most motivated to sell? I mean, for me, it's been when I first started, I was probate because somebody just died, and death usually brings out a ton of emotion out of people. But it's usually probate and foreclosure are kind of the two ones that have the most motivation usually. But it's at your fingertips. It's whoever you guys market to and how you pull motivation out of them. Right. So great question though. How do you avoid skip tracing the same data more than once? So what you guys can do is with kind skip tracing, what I'll do is I'll send him the data that I've got because the guy's got all the data already anyway. So it's not like me sending him my data is going to help him out at all anyways. So I'll send him my data and say, hey, this is the data that I have in DFW. Can you deduplicate it? That's what you say. You say, can you deduplicate it? I'll type that in here for y'all. Deduplicate it for me and send me back the amount of records that I want. They are deduplicated from what I've already bought from you before or from whatever I've already got. And they'll do that for you guys. Yeah, no problem. Next one. How much data were you collecting when you first were starting out? So when I first started out, man, I bought 5,000 leads and I thought I was the bee's knees, man. I was like, man, I got 5,000 leads. I'm going to get a deal like tomorrow. I didn't know that. That's not how it works. So I bought 5,000 leads and I bought another 5,000 leads and I bought another 5,000 leads. And it wasn't until I went big on data and I went and bought a 50K lead list that I started getting deals. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. You got to go big on data. I mean, if you can't go big on data, I understand. You're gonna have to just have a lot more grind and a lot more time. But I wanted to accelerate it. I quit my job to do this full time, so I said I got to go hard. So I started off with 5K, and it just wasn't working. And I just 10x that thing, man. Like Grant Cardone, I bought a 50K list. We've been on and rocking ever since. So I hope that answered your question, Baylor. Q. When you stack your list and identify the properties that are overlapping, do you also hit them with their initial text blast, then call yourself, or do you call yourself? Man, depending down. So he said now when I list stack and I seen who's on that motivated list, will I just blast them out with a text blast or call them myself? Great question. So it just depends on how many people are on there. If it's a ton, no, I won't call them myself. I'll have my VA call them maybe. Or yes, we'll do the text blast. But if it's like 200 or 100, I'll I'll say, you know what, I'm going to call them today and tomorrow, and I'll bang through the phones and I'll make my 3-4 rounds, call them. And after that, if they don't answer, I'll send them over to the VAs and they do their thing. But if there's a ton of them, text blast them, man. You want to save your time. If you only way to elevate is to delegate. Okay. How much does a 50K list cost? So, Deja Dixon, a 50K list, if you're getting it from PropStream, will cost you $6,000. If you're getting it from my boy Josh over there at Skiptracing, 50,000 leads will cost you $1,500. See the difference? So if you got $1,500, you want to spend on leads. Maybe you don't. Maybe you want to. Maybe you have somebody that will go in with you on it, a partner. Or you can start off with 20K. I believe if you're in Michigan, Deja, the average lead, the average amount of leads it takes is between 12 to 18,000 in Michigan to get a deal. But you always want to go over and beyond so that you have that little cushion in that pad. So a 50K lead list costs between $1,500 and $6,000. I mean, heck, Janae was spending 15 cents. So that was she would have spent $7,500 on a 50K lead list. So hope that answered your curious. How long did it take for your first deal? Man, so it's various. My question was, how long did it take for my first deal? Various iterations of that. I first started wholesaling, just strictly focusing on wholesaling in 2020 2019, I'm sorry. When I first came down here to DFW, and I failed miserably because I was buying small lists. I think my first ever list I bought was like 1,500. And then I didn't get my first deal until I actually sat down, quit my job, and got serious. Now, when I quit my job, got serious, and I said, this is going to be my 9 to 5. I'm gonna stay locked in here from 9 in the morning till 6, 7 o'clock p.m. I think it was 17 to 21 days, something like that was my first deal. It wasn't big. It was only $3,500. But it wasn't about the deal size to me. It was about seeing the ball go through the hoop. I saw that, hey, this wholesaling real estate thing is real and it works. Now I just have to repeat that process. I just have to rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. And then right after that, I think that first deal came March 21st. April 10th, I had 2 closes on the same date. One for $40,000, one for $14,000. So I went from making $3,500 on that first closing to the second and third closing be on the same day about 2 weeks later, and making $55,000, $60,000 almost in one day, which is what I would have made as a salary somewhere else. All right, so just about grinding, keep going. How many hours a day? How many hours a day should we spend calling? So it depends, y'all. The question was, how many hours a day should we spend calling? It really just depends on how much time you have. If you have a 9 to 5, you really can't call before. You can, but it's kind of hard. If you have a 9 to 5, what I would suggest is maybe having a text message system go out, because the text messages can be automated and you don't even have to, you just have to oversee what's coming in. And a lot of y'all are on your phone at work anyways, or on a computer. So you just had a tab pulled up on your computer and be monitoring the inbox and responding. So if you have a 9 to 5, your best times will be to call after work between like 5 to 8, 5 to 7:30 or so. After 8 o'clock, your answer rate drops significantly. But if you don't have a job, man, you need to call as much as you can. When I first started out, I was calling from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. I mean, and Imani's in here, my fiance, she can tell y'all. I sat in the office from 9 a.m. till 7, even 8 p.m. some days, just straight up banging the phones. You got to grind. You got to grind and shine. Longer, she said longer than that. Yeah, we'd be eating dinner and a seller will call back, and I immediately left dinner and answered the phone. So when you guys are first starting out, you don't have VAs and systems in place, it's going to be a grind, y'all. But I mean, I'm here to tell y'all that it is worth it, man. It's worth it. You know, hard work pays off. She said, does Skiptracing provide the niche list too, or do they Skiptracing? Man, but Q, they do it all at Skiptracing. Let me see if I can pull up something from them real quick for y'all before y'all go. Skiptracing info. We're gonna go to an order. Buyers for Skip. Let's see. When was this? February 19th. Let's see if I can show y'all some of the lead lists they have. These are cash buyers. I don't want that. They have haunted house lists, man. They have vacant. They have man, they have it all. They have foreclosure, vacant. Man, they have a ton of data, but they have a ton of niche lists, man. When you reach out to them, they'll tell you exactly what they have. And man, they're great, man. They have every list you could imagine. Their hit rate is great. I mean, you truly can. I can show you guys here as well. Let me see if I can. I can just tell you, they have age 55 plus. They have bad credit, absentee, inheritance, vacant, pre-foreclosure, 10-year owned high equity, 4-year owned high equity absentee, just to name a few. So they have a ton of data. Nice, man. 14 months in, 4 terminated contracts, but still going at it. I spent too much time and money in this. I just dropped out of college and I have no other option but to win. Hey, man, I love to hear that. Nate, make sure, man, you get some special time with me on my calendar, man, and we'll make sure we get together and really get this thing working, man. You persistent. You got that grind now. You ain't got no option. You put your back against the wall, man, which is what I did. And when you put your back against the wall, man, you're really going to see what you're made of, man. So I love that you're still going, man, after 14 months. So, man, get with me, Nate, on my calendar, man. We for sure, man, will put something together. I want to make sure that we can make sure that you get a successful closing, man, and a consummated contract, man, before this is all done. Yeah, my man. If you don't have my email name, I'm dropping in the chat right now, man. Get with me. Oh, keep it up. Yep, that deal's around the corner. I know that's right. Oh, look, D said he know Josh. Josh is the truth. I'm telling y'all, man. Josh has really been in this game for a little minute. All the big heavy hitters, I just started seeing all the heavy hitters now in wholesale and real estate have started following him on Instagram. So that's how I know he is legit. I'm talking about the investor lists, all the big, huge wholesaling companies here in DFW. They are using Skiptracing for their services now, but they don't want to tell you that. I don't keep any secrets, man. My game, my sauce is y'all sauce. Y'all take it and I hope y'all run with it. Any more questions, y'all? These are great questions. These are really, really good questions. I love it. Appreciate y'all, man. Hey, thank y'all for coming in. Thank y'all for engaging. Reunited for life, baby. We might go ahead and get it tatted. That's how serious this thing is. We had 142 members. We about to be at 200. If y'all haven't already, tell everybody y'all know. Tell your mama, tell your sister, tell your brother, tell your uncle. Tell them to join in, man, so they can get this free game. We need to be telling everybody we know. You know, everybody needs to know about how they can get started in this thing. And I appreciate y'all. Reunited. I know that's right. Reunited, man. You know what? Somebody wants to get it tatted, man. I got a couple $100 if somebody gets reunited tatted. Y'all heard it here first. Y'all heard it here first. Y'all heard it here first, man. But all right, y'all, man. That's it. I appreciate y'all time again. If nobody else has any other questions, make sure y'all get with me on my calendar this week. I'm not going to have any homework for y'all. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw a quiz together for y'all. It's going to be a combination quiz of last week as well as this week. So y'all can go through, kind of keep y'all brains fresh. No problem, Jewel. Thank you. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. How you get on my calendar, man? Just email me, Nate. And then, man, I'll respond back. Or if you have a Google Calendar, just shoot me a Google Calendar link invite. And, man, I'll either approve it or deny it, and we can modify from there. Easy money. I know that's right. Yeah, easy couple hundred, man. All right, y'all. We appreciate y'all so much, man. Thank you so much. D, I need to get with you on them free leads. I'll make sure I send you those right as soon as we get off. And everybody else, man, thanks for y'all time. God bless y'all. I'll see y'all next week at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, where we're going to go over marketing methods and how to market to these lists. Gone. LV.